Hi and welcome to my channel. Two games that are absolutely free that you can play from literally anywhere in the world and can make you a lot of money. So let's get right into it. The first game is Fantasy 5. So you can see the address right here on your screen, fantasy5.com. So if you were to visit it, I'm going to say Fantasy 5. Oh, okay. So fantasy5.com and we enter and it takes us to the page, right? So by default, I think the page loads the Premier League page. Um, but just for this video, I'm going to talk about the Premier League because that one is already live. Okay. So I'm going to show you how you can make money from this site. It is absolutely free to play. You can actually see it on your screen. And you can win as, much as 2,500 euros from this game. Depending on where you are in the world, this money could be life changing. You know, for some others it could just be like maybe a weekend weekend, so like cars to just spend the weekend for. But I'm pretty sure for most people this kind of money is life changing, right? And it's absolutely free to play. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is we can actually pick the players without even logging in. So let's click get started and see what happens. Yes, so what happens is, if you're already familiar with fantasy football, this shouldn't be new to you because you can actually see some 5 games on the screen right here, and you can see a list of players just close to the right side of my screen here. You can see a list of players. So what you're basically doing is every week, Fantasy 5 picks 5 matches, right? So they pick 5 matches, Premier League, 5 Premier League matches, and what you have to do is to pick a player from that game that is going to beat their fantasy points target. So let's say, for example, if I picked Raul Jimenez is a striker that plays for Fulham FC, and he has a points target of 6.5. Now, what does this mean? We can actually just click this icon right here, and it shows us what the points target means, which means the total number of points that a player needs to pass for you to have won, that particular match. Okay, so for Raul Jimenez, 6.5 is going to be about a goal and an assist. I'm going to make a whole different video, especially if you're new to fantasy, if you're not familiar with fantasy. The kind of like points target may be a bit new to you, but if you're already used to fantasy football, you know how points are calculated, right? You know that the real life sort of like goals and assists of some players are used to sort of like calculate the points. So you really want to pick players for players that are able to get goals, are able to get assists. Players that are in form, players that like to attack, right? Players that avoid bookings, that don't really score a lot of own goals, don't really get booked, that kind of stuff. So all you have to do is just scroll through the list, right? So Fantasy 5 makes a list of players from both teams in all the games that they pick. So for 5 games, that is 10 teams, they list all the players from those teams, right? So all you have to do is just pick the one you think is going to score or assist. It's pretty simple. So let's look at this game right now, Fulham and Luton Town. I think one of the most informed players from this game is Andreas Pereira, who has actually been a very instrumental player for Fulham since he joined them. So you can see that as soon as I selected him, he actually enters into sort of like the feed right here. So I have 5 players who are going to be like my own team for that week, and I'm just going to hope that they actually get the goals and they get the assists, right? So I picked Pereira for this week. We are going into the next game, which is Manchester United versus Brighton. So I am a Manchester United fan, so I'm going to be a bit biased right here and just pick a player for my team. I think Rashford usually does well against Brighton, so I'm actually just picking here. His points target is a bit higher, it's around 8.5, but I think I'm still able to pick him. Okay, I actually like the look of Bruno Fernandes as well because he's on penalties, and 8.5 is probably just like 2 goals and an assist, and maybe a clean sheet. will be enough. But Fernandez usually gets booked. So I'm going to just go for Rashford. So you can see I've picked two players. So I'm going to go through the next game. So I think I'm actually going to go for Edward. But I think Douglas Lewis probably just needs a goal. I'm just going to go for Edward because I think he's in form. Then for Newcastle, I think Brentford could actually win this game. There's probably a chance for Newcastle to bounce back from a poor run of form. But I'm just going to go for Brentford. And I like the look of Wisa at 6.5. But it needs at least two attacking returns to beat that. So I'm just going to go for. I think Mbuemo is a better option. Okay, yeah, so that's Brian Mbuemo. So I'm going to pick that. And Everton versus Arsenal. I think Arsenal should win this comfortably. So I'm going to go for Saka right here. So we've actually picked our five players, and you can see right here that the game recognizes that we've picked these five players, and we can actually now confirm our selection. So we're going to click confirm selection, and it shows us we need to log in. So the website automatically redirects us to where we log in, to where we can log in. So I already have an account on this site, so it logs me in automatically. But if you're just getting to the website for the first time, you might need to sign up after that. But you already have your players, you sign up, you put in your details, and you actually just confirm your selection, and that's it. You're good for that week, right? So this is one game that is really nice. So also you can head over to their Twitter. They also host sort of like bonus competitions. So let's head over to their Twitter page right now. And the Twitter page is at Fantasy 5 Jackpot. So you can see it right here. Be sure to be uh, be sure that you have the correct handle. Okay, so you can actually just come here. They usually have a pinned post where they have like free giveaways, right? So someone actually won the jackpot last week. Okay, so because of this, they are doing a giveaway. Usually, you have the chance to pick an additional player, so they can just ask you to pick a player that you think is going to beat their target. And usually, if you pick that player, you can win an extra $50. In a draw if your player eventually wins the contest or beats their points targets. So Fantasy 5 I think is actually the best fantasy game on the internet. They have very great prizes. It's a bit difficult to win because your players need to actually score. Clean sheets don't really count for much here because the points target are so high these days. So it may be very difficult to actually beat this points target. But you can see someone actually won the jackpot last week, so there's a big chance that he can actually even win in this game as well. So Fantasy 5 is actually the biggest fantasy game on the internet. So that's it right there. You pick your team, and once the match starts, you can actually see how your players have done. So I can actually go back here and go to my results, and I can see how my players have done in the past week. So you can see my players, even though some of them were able to get goals, it was so difficult for them to actually beat the points target. You can see. So I actually had a week where two of my players beat their points target and it's showing green. But for the other three, unfortunately, they couldn't do what I asked. So yeah. So with this game, with a bit of luck and maybe if you kind of know the underlying stats, you can actually just increase your chances. And not only that, they also have sort of like a leaderboard as well, where even if you don't win the jackpot, if you have the highest correct predictions for the month, you can also win a lot of prizes. So if some prizes, sometimes they give away Apple Watches, they give away signed jerseys, they give away a lot of things, a lot of TV boxes, a lot of prizes. So I think Fantasy 5 is actually the best fantasy game on the internet. You can win so many things. You can see my rank here, 6,700 people are playing this game. So I think more people need to actually play this game because I think it's one of the best games out there. And yeah, so that's it right there. And I'm just gonna start with the second video right here then. Alright, so the second game that can, you know, earn you a lot of money and is absolutely free is superpicks.com. Okay, so superpicks.com is a fantasy site. I think they're heavily sponsored by BetKing. That you can actually earn a lot of money from as well. So there are two ways to earn money from SuperPicks. They have the predictor game and they have the fantasy game. Okay, so what is the predictor game? I'm just going to show you how the predictor game works right here. So I'm going to click predictor and it's going to take us to the predictor page. And what happens with Super Picks is they pick sort of like 6 games for you to predict the correct scores. Okay, so you need to predict the correct scores of the matches. And let me just try and make a prediction right here. So Tottenham against Sheffield United. I think Tottenham are an informed team this season, and I'm just gonna go for 3-0. West Ham versus Manchester City. I think West Ham can score, but will be unable to win the game. So let's go for 3-1. Arsenal and Everton. I think it's gonna be a comfortable win for Arsenal. So I'm just gonna go 3-0. Manchester United against Brighton. It's going to be a tough one because Brighton are a really good side and United are kind of a bit inconsistent rather. So I'm going to support my team anyways and just go for I think a narrow win for Manchester United could do. Then for Chelsea and Bournemouth, I'm just going to go for I think Chelsea can bounce back actually. I don't think Bournemouth will be able to beat Chelsea. So let's just go for a narrow 1-0 win. Then for Newcastle and Brentford, like I said, I think Brentford have the capacity to actually win this game, but it has the potential to be high scoring. So I'm just going to go for 3-2 right there. And you need to pick a tiebreaker question. So what minute do I think the first goal will be scored in any of the matches? The reason why they ask this question is in the case of maybe there are two winners. Okay, so you can actually see it right there. So if for some reason you actually pick the correct scores and you win the jackpot, but someone else does the same thing, the minute that is closest to when the first goal was scored is going to like just edge it. That person is going to edge it. Okay, for the jackpot. So I'm just gonna go for 25 minutes and I'm going to submit my picks. So this is where I actually log in right here. So I'm going to log in right now and put in my mobile number and that's it right there. I'm going to log in and okay. Okay, all right here. So okay, so that's it right here. We're in and it didn't actually save my picks. Told me prediction submitted, but I can't see it right here. So I'm going to try and refresh and see if it works. It didn't actually work, so I have to do it again. Oh my. Okay, so let's go over it again. So I said Tottenham was gonna win Sheffield. I think I picked 2-0. I can't really tell because when you're predicting correct score sometimes it's gonna be very difficult. So you can actually just go for the stats or the insights, just to kind of get maybe the head to head details or stuff like that. So yeah, I think Manchester City can win this, but I think West Ham can score as well. So Arsenal wins this comfortably again. Manchester United against Brighton, we edge it with a narrow win. And Brentford against Newcastle United. I'm going to go for a high scoring game, like I said, but I think Brentford wins it. Then Chelsea wins as well. Then for the okay, tiebreaker question. Like I said, I'm going for 25 minutes and I'm submitting my picks. And that's it right there. Picks finally were submitted. So I think there's a way for BetKing to actually just upsell, just see if you can actually transfer your predictions into wins. But I don't really play that. But I have a BetKing account, but I don't really think I need to play that. You can just leave it. It's not really important. But if you still feel you want to like double down on your picks, sure, you can actually go on and just go to BetKing and place your bet. So that's for the fantasy side of Super Picks. Now let's go to the fantasy side. The fantasy side is a bit more interesting because I like the fact that you can actually just, I think the chances of winning the fantasy is actually higher, okay, compared to the correct scores, because picking six correct scores is not at all easy. Okay, so you can just come to when we come into the fantasy page, we can see the list of games that have been picked. So I think okay, it's actually 5 games for the predictor as well. It's just 5 games. So let's try and set up our teams for Liverpool versus Wolves. You can actually see when the lineups are, where the match is actually starting. So if you are not sure about the lineups, you can actually just wait till maybe like an hour to kick off before you can set your team so that you can know the players that are going to be starting. You can also see the price pool right here. So this price pool is actually listed in Naira. So this 150,000 right here is about $150 or so. But that's one thing about the fantasy is you can actually win more than one game. You can enter into all the games, and it's possible for you to win all 5 of them, right? Nothing is impossible, right? So you can actually win all 5 and earn yourself like a million or so, a million naira, which is around $1,000 or so. So it's still very good, and you're actually playing it for free. It does you no harm. There is nothing in it. You can actually just go in there, put in your team, and hope for the best. So let's try and create a team right here. Liverpool versus Wolves. I think Liverpool should be able to continue their strong run of form. So I'm just going to play this. So I'm going to skip the selection process because that can waste a lot of time. Alright, so I have picked my team right here, and you can see my keeper. I've picked Alisson Becker. I've picked 2 of Liverpool's most attacking defenders. I've picked Kilman as well. So one thing about fantasy is you want defenders that can attack, that can go forward and get goals, and maybe also get a clean sheet, get some tackles in. Because I think the scoring system for Super Picks Fantasy is a bit different. You get points for completed passes, you get points for chances created, that kind of stuff. So it's a bit more dicey compared to the normal fantasy where what really counts is just the goals and assists and clean sheets. With Super Picks, I think there is more room for you to like earn points. So you can actually just go for the differentials as well. You can go for something like defensive midfielders who usually are not like the favorite in fantasy football. So after you pick your team, you can actually select a captain who is going to get twice the points. So if I actually pick Salah as my captain right here, you can see he gets the points. And for the vice captain, I'm gonna pick Luis Diaz, and I'm gonna click join contest. Okay, and just like that, I'm in to win, right? So I'm in to win, and I have a chance to actually win myself 150,000 naira. So that is actually pretty interesting. I didn't have to pay a dime to enter into this contest. It's absolutely free. You can actually see, your contest and see, the one where you are in. You can see your contest and you can see the matches if you need to enter more. For the purposes of time, I'm not going to pick the teams for all this, but you can also just try it yourself. It's absolutely free. You can play from anywhere in the world, and you can also earn, from this game. So why not just play it, right? So yeah, so that's how the 2 awesome games that I think you can play that you can earn yourself some money. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, you can please give it a thumbs up. If you like the content, you can actually subscribe to my channel as well. I'm going to be making a lot of videos like this that are offering good value for you. And yes, guys, so thank you so much once again, and I hope to see you in the next video.